either of us. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, that's perfect. That's small.
Uh-huh. But you can do different sizes and stuff.
I could.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I like this because there's the wall kind of dividing. This is a very cinematic shot.
It looks like we're
there's
not in
something
the
has
same
come
place.
between us. Yeah.
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 Perhaps a line of barbed wire.
Oh, wow.
Right here.
Or like, yeah, a tire that's been set on fire and it's just rolling and rolling and rolling.
No one appreciates that shot.
Oh,
I go
it's so
crazy.
good. Anyway, welcome to Women in STEM.
Oh, we're now recording. Hi.
We'll probably think of something that STEM stands for later and just tack it in here.
That's smart.
Because we haven't thought about it at all.
Today we're talking about Ever After, which we have discussed before on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe briefly, maybe not briefly. I don't remember.
Who cares?
Not us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was during our adaptation discussion. We were talking about how it's a near perfect adaptation of Cinderella, and how we really didn't need to keep making them after that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think in particular response to the Cinderella that Amazon did with Camila Cabello.
Yeah, because like video responses don't exist on YouTube anymore, so we had to make a podcast about it.
Mm-hmm.
Such is life these days. Ever After, we've all seen it. It's beautiful. It's fantastic.
If you haven't seen it, rectify that right now.
Right now.
Just
Leave,
pause this.
Leave right now. Go
Yeah.
watch it. And then come back and you'll have context for what we're talking about. And you'll know this is actually one of the most beautiful movies ever made.
Yeah, because not only is it a really good Cinderella adaptation, it genuinely is a really good film in its own right. And that is the mark of a really great adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. Everything about it is really well done.
Yeah.
First of all, the casting. Drew Barrymore is a really good...
She was a good choice for this.
She was a good choice.
Yeah.
Because she really captures the stubborn determination to make it through that I think some Cinderellas maybe miss out on, because some of them, particularly with the Camila Cabello one, they focus a lot on how, Cinderella's never had any power, let's change that. She's actually a girl boss and she's going to run her own business.
Mm-hmm.
When the whole point of Cinderella at all is that she didn't have any power because she was abused.
She had to overcome that.
Yeah.
That's like the point. It's not just like, oh, she's not. This is like, the story of Cinderella is misogynistic because she didn't have any power, instead of like completely missing the point of like, well, how did she get there?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't she have any power?
Yeah.
Who had power in that situation?
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't her.
Yeah. And Ever After really realizes that she does have power. It's just not the kind that, you might think of. But she has the power. She convinces the prince to grow and learn as a person and learn how to use his actual power that he has to make a difference in society.
Yeah.
It's the power of an individual. And like I was saying about her stubborn determination, like Cinderella's never really been a passive character.
Yeah.
She's like, life doesn't just happen to her. I haven't seen the Disney Cinderella in a really long time, but from what I remember, even back then, she was like, she had a bit of an attitude with her step family. She didn't really want to be doing this, but like, it was all she had. She had no other option.
Right.
Where else is she gonna go? Which is part of the reason why she wants to go to the ball. She wants to get any other experience at all. And with Ever After, the difference here is that it's her father's farm, and she grew up here, and she loves every single member of the staff. They are her family, and she's doing everything she can. She's putting up with this, first and foremost, because she will save her family home, and also because she wants so desperately to have a mother that she's willing to put up with any level of abuse from her stepmother for that wish, which is sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
So it really makes you like feel a lot more for the character. Like she has a lot of depth and she's very relatable. They give her a little bit more control over her situation. Like I think of like when they're in the forest with the thieves, and they're like, well, you can take anything you can carry. So she's like, all right, and carries the prince. Like, it's something that you wouldn't really have seen in the other Cinderella stories, because usually she doesn't meet the prince until later in the story.
Yeah.
But just kind of giving her a little bit more control over her situation and seeing more of her personality and the kind of person that she could be if she wasn't being held back by circumstance and by this, like, abusive family situation that she's fallen into.
Yeah.
So then it becomes that much more rewarding later on when she is granted this freedom and this power to, like, make the changes that will benefit the society that she knows and cares about so deeply.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense that she would do that because we've already seen these glimpses of the person that she could be.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not, like, in a girl bossy way, you know what I mean?
No.
Like, they're not trying too hard. It's just, like, she's genuinely funny. Is there anything that you can't do? She says, fly.
Fly. Swimming in her underwear.
Yeah.
Da Vinci walks, like, he's like, good day for it, isn't it? Like, that's a normal thing to say.
Yeah.
And he's surprised when she's shocked. Like,
Yeah.
dude.
It's just, like, it's just
so
like,
real.
very genuinely funny and very real.
And she's not, like, passive with her stepfamily either. Like, when, especially when they're going to take her mother's dress, which is all she has left.
Mm-hmm.
Of her mother, of her home, of anything. That's all.
Yeah.
And they're gonna take it, and she loses her mind, and she punches, what's her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, her
Punches
her
what's her
stepsister.
name.
Yeah. And, like, she's not... She is trapped, but it makes sense why she can't escape, and why she chooses not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's... Like you're saying, it still gives her a lot of power and a lot of agency in this story that and I'm probably gonna keep taking this back to the Camila Cabello one,
which I haven't seen.
I haven't either.
This is all just based on clips
osmosis
and hearsay.
Yeah. I've watched several video reactions
allegedly, that's what I'll say. Allegedly, Camila Cabello did a movie.
Yeah. No one can prove it. Actually, no one I've talked to in person has seen it. So, nut.
I had, whichever word this used to be ends with R-E-D, and I needed D-E-R, so I had to cut it out and then individually cut out the letters and replace them. Anyway, what were you saying about the alleged Camila Cabello movie?
Oh,
neither
that's right.
confirm nor deny that this is real.
So, allegedly, her character's goal is to open up her own dress shop, right? So,
which is fine.
No, it's not.
Not
I'm not even going to say that. No, because the whole point of
if
Cinderella...
If it was Cinderella, like, it's not fine. If it was just, like, a story about a different person, that's totally fine. But that's the issue, is, like, you're completely erasing the actual story.
Yes.
For the sake of star power or something, I guess.
I don't know. I don't even care. Like, the whole point is that she doesn't have the time, the space, the energy to even do anything else for herself. She has nothing else. Her stepfamily can't give her anything else. So how on earth would they have allowed her to have the time to work on all those projects, to, like, where did she find the money to buy the fabric and do all this? It doesn't make any sense. Why is she even still staying there if she has the money?
It's like, how does she have the time?
Yeah.
Then
if she has the time to work on all these things, then it can't be that bad of a situation. If she has the money to find the supplies for all of that, then find another place to live.
Unless she's a thief, in which case that would be a much more interesting story.
Oh, Cinderella's a thief.
Tell me about that.
That could be good. Literally, it takes 30 seconds of discussion between us to find better alternatives.
A much better thing.
For awful live-action remakes. Like, make a new story.
Literally every single time we sit down to do one of these, if there's even a whisper somewhere in the conversation of, like, a live-action remake, we immediately are like, wouldn't it be better if it was like this? We've done it with Little Mermaid, we've done it with Beauty and the Beast, we've done it with Cinderella. Like,
put us in charge.
Make a new movie, or put us in charge of making the same movie again, because we'll at least, like, have a fun little touch in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's frustrating, because part of the original fairy tale, too, is that she is so like drained for energy, that the only thing that she has to herself is reading by the fire, which is why they call her Cinderella, because she's covered in cinders and ash.
Which
That's all
lost
she has.
in a lot of the, like, in pretty much any of the movies, like even the Disney one, they kind of briefly touch on like why they call her Cinderella.
Yeah, but it's just not seen as much. No,
but it is in Ever After.
Pretty prominent point. It's lovely. She just has so much depth. She's a real character. She is, and above all, she's kind and she loves people so much. One of the first things we see, well, her first introduction is phenomenal too. As an adult, is when she's beaming apples at the prince, knocks him off the horse.
Yeah,
she's gonna kill him. And that's
she's
great.
Fully prepared to kill him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. But as a kid too, and it's not like framed like, oh, she's not like other girls. She's different. She's quirky. She's a kid. She's a child who was raised by her father, who didn't really.
And they love each other, but they don't really have a lot of understanding for each other because they just have completely different life experience, right? So he's trying his best, but he's gone a lot for work.
Yeah, but when he doesn't know how to raise a girl.
Yeah.
To be a woman in this society with the etiquette and.
There's just a lot of stuff that he hasn't really had a lot of experience with. But when he's home, you can tell it's the happiest part of either of their entire lives. Yeah,
and that's one of the first lines at the beginning when the old lady is telling the story. She's like, once upon a time, there was a girl who loved her father. I'm gonna freaking sob right here, right now. Who loved her father very much. Get out of here. What? Start off your story with emotional depth. Like, make me care about these characters. He's barely in this movie, but you love him. You love him so much. When they play rock paper scissors in her bed, and she talked him into coming home sooner, and you can tell he would do anything for his daughter. He loves her so much, and that's another part of the tragedy, is that he was a good dad, and he wouldn't have let her be treated poorly if he was around.
If he had had any say,
yeah. But he's not, and that's. You feel the loss as much as she does throughout this movie, because he was there and he was so present and big, and everyone loved him. Everyone in the house, all the servants, his daughter, and even if they don't mention him frequently throughout the rest of the movie, you feel that loss very deeply because
that's the reason that everything is so different now.
Yeah.
Know. It's, again, just like a hint of the person that she could have been.
Yeah. And that's why he married her stepmother as well, is because he wanted to give her a mother. He wanted to give her a mother figure because he knew that he wasn't adequate enough for
everything that she would need.
For everything that she needs. Yeah. And, he's a really, really good dad and a really good character. That's how you do a very brief introduction and removal, is just you make him feel real.
Yeah.
You don't try too hard, you don't try too little, and if he hadn't been established as powerfully as he was, then it would be okay, so why do we even care about him then? But they did a really good job of making the audience care too.
In the beginning of they have a really sweet relationship. Yeah.
Also, fun fact about this is I watched this movie often as a young kid because it's fantastic. I fell in love with the scene where they're falling down the hill and they fall into the water with all the leaves falling down on top of them.
It's so beautiful.
I told my mom, I was like, I want to watch the Leave movie because I was like, oh, cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some sort of image that really sticks with you.
Oh, it's so good. But so I watched it a lot, and I remember the scene where he grabs at his arm. He's like, you can tell it kind of hurts. He's like, what's going on here? I asked my dad about it once. He's like, he had a heart attack, and sometimes they feel like a pain in their left arm.
Like a shooting pain.
Yeah. And I was convinced I was going to have a heart attack. For years.
Oh, no.
Anytime I had even a cramp or anything at all in my arm, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the end.
I'm just like Cinderella's dad.
My dad told me all the time, he's like, You're a child. You're not gonna have a heart attack. I promise.
Yeah.
And I just didn't believe him.
Yeah. You're like, Dad, I've seen it in the movies.
Yeah.
So it must be real.
Yeah.
For me, that was Labyrinth. I would
Mm.
watch Labyrinth once as a young kid, and the image of like the like MC Escher style stairs, you never really like know where they lead, stuck in my mind so vividly.
And the song.
Mm.
David Bowie, shut up. The Prince, too. I'll talk about the Prince.
Mm-hmm.
He's great. He is what the Camila Cabello Cinderella Prince wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
You want him to be like a little bit arrogant, a little bit spoiled, but
Because he's the literal prince.
He's a prince, yeah.
Like of France or something.
Yeah, that's the one downside in this movie is that they are French,
Yeah.
but we have to move, we can't dwell. No
That's
movie's
okay, it's
perfect. Yeah.
That's
But
their flaw.
He has to be like a little bit unlikable, but not so unlikable that you...
That he can't be redeemed.
He can't be redeemed, and you can picture her falling in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
That makes perfect sense in this movie, because he is a little spoiled, he is a little arrogant, and she puts him in his place right away. She goes to save her, one of the servants, and he's like, all right, let him out. Like, it's a fun little game for him.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, you didn't even look at anyone else in that. Like,
yeah.
She's like, I appreciate
these are
what you
real
did,
people's
but
lives.
yeah, they're slaves. They have been sold like property. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize it like that. And he condemns Utopia for being like, it's so naive and stupid that the last book her father ever gave her. And she's like, okay,
like,
well
first
then...
of all, I was 8 years old.
Second, have you heard of media literacy? Like, let's talk about this.
Do you believe that people could change for the better?
Yeah, and maybe it's your fault that your people are thieves. Have you ever thought about that?
Mm-hmm.
And he takes it to heart. He listens to her, and that's what makes him such a really compelling character, is because he actively chooses to change. Because of her, but not necessarily for her, I think is a good distinction.
Mm-hmm.
For, like...
Like, he really means it.
Yeah,
It's not just, like, to trick her, like, to impress her.
Yeah.
Because he's genuinely inspired by her.
Yeah, and he says as much, too. He's like, I never knew what it felt like to have a purpose and to care so much about life. Mm-hmm. And she helps him understand how to do that, and how to do it in a way that benefits the people around you, too, not just for yourself. So he opens a university.
Yeah.
Like, he would continue to do that even without her, but the fact that it was as a result of her just shows, like, he has a lot of strength of character as well, that he's like, all right, you were right. I can accept that I was wrong and took my power for granted. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, he's just a really good character he's just really well done. They have that perfect balance of, yeah, he's a bit of a dick, but let's see where he can go. And it's not like a mystery why she falls in love with him over the course of their several meetings. Yeah. They just have a really good connection, back and forth, banter. We're on. Like, nothing happened.
So,
talk about the Prince.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to finish your sentence? Or is it too late?
I mean, I don't even remember.
Okay.
I've never remembered it.
Anyway, he's nice. So.
We like him. He's a good character. I was gonna say, the Camila Cabello Prince is just an asshole, and you don't like him, and you don't want him to win.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the whole point, allegedly, from what I have understood about other people's experiences watching it, is that he doesn't want to be prince, and at the end he gives his sister the throne, and she is the ruler.
Nice, I guess.
It's a very similar premise to what Ever After did, but Ever After just did everything so much better, because this prince also doesn't want to be the prince. He runs away. That's his first scene, is running away. He doesn't want an arranged marriage, and he doesn't want to be king. He feels trapped in it. So, but that's the beauty of what Danielle teaches him, is like, no, you can make a difference. You can change. You can use your power for the benefit of everybody around you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, I don't know, it seems a lot more powerful to me than, like, you can just give up your throne and be with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, but what are they gonna do now?
Yeah, because it wouldn't even make sense for her character, because again, she is so driven by making things right for people around her.
Mm-hmm.
She can see the issues in their society, like economically and politically and whatever. And she's studied it, and she's very aware of it on a personal level as well. So if he were to be like, I'm gonna give up my power so I can be with you,
She'd be
she'd be like,
pissed.
I don't want to be with you if I can't like make a change for people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's great. Also, and we briefly mentioned this, but Leonardo da Vinci is there.
He's in this movie.
For, like,
He's just
the
one
whole-
of the characters.
Yeah. He plays a pretty major role.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's so funny. Did Camila Cabello's movie have Leonardo da Vinci in it? I don't think so. And again, one of the first things that the prince does is sacrifice a little bit of himself to help someone else. Like, he is running away. He's trying to get away from the guards. And he says, okay, I will stop and help this man. He didn't even know he was Da Vinci. Like, which I really like, because it's not like he's like, I'm Leonardo da Vinci, that's the Mona Lisa, you've got to go get her for me. It's
right.
It's
like,
a random old man. Please help me.
Like, I worked so hard.
Yeah, if nothing else, please just get that one back for me.
Yeah.
And he does. He gives up his chance at freedom to help this random old man.
Yeah.
And it shows
Leonardo
da Vinci, yeah.
It didn't even have to be.
No, it could have just been a random person, but the fact that it was, like, that shows you that he has the capacity to be, like, he knows how to do the right thing. And his character arc makes complete sense later on, given that he just needed a direction, how to channel that energy that he already had. He already had the capacity for good. So, like, it makes complete sense that he had a redemption arc.
Yeah.
He was set up for it. And then, the wings.
And that's on good writing.
That's on, yeah, amen.
And the wings, yeah. Go like that. That doesn't. But I also might not actually wear them.
I wouldn't blame you. Yeah.
We touched on this earlier, but it's visually beautiful.
Really, really
You know,
pretty.
like, it's well written and well directed and well acted, and also just beautiful.
Yeah.
The costumes look real, you know?
Yeah.
The places look real, like, it's very believable, and just, like, the very, like, idyllic countryside setting. I mean, it's gorgeous. And that's another reason, like, that you want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Or, like you were saying, like, that might be the number one thing that sticks out in your child's mind. Like, I remember it looked so pretty. I want to watch that again.
Yeah. And with the costumes as well, like you said, they feel real. But you look at, and this is a problem across, like, a lot of modern movies, and there are a lot of other video essays that talk about it more in depth and probably better, but everything just looks cheap. You know, everything's done on a budget. Everything's done to be made so fast. It's about quantity over quality. And when Danielle walks into the ball with her fancy fairy dress and the wings and her sparkles done on her face, is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life? And the big reveal in the Camila Cabello one is when the princess walks out wearing one of her dresses, and it's like, have you seen a picture of this?
I probably.
Okay, well, I'm sorry if you.
But I'll see it again.
Yeah, fine. It's the most dull thing I've ever seen. Even the live action Cinderella that Disney did, her dress was stunning. And to hear them talk about the costumes in that movie is lovely because they actually hired craftsmen to make them. Like people who this is their job, this is their career. They put so
and they're
much.
not putting them in a rush. Like the thing is, like a lot of costume designers could be doing really, really beautiful things, but they just don't have the chance because they're so limited in their time or their budget. So
Yeah.
then they're like, well, I guess we just have to like really fast throw this together and put Camila Cabello in like any like junior prom dress.
That's a prom dress, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so
like you could just
basic.
you could buy that at the mall.
Yeah. It's one of the cheap options. I'm trying to find the one that she gives to the princess because it's. You keep talking while I do this.
Well, I don't know if I particularly had anything else to say. No, I can keep talking about costumes. I think something like just the level of detail going into every single costume in the, like everybody's hair and makeup like is clearly people cared about this and they weren't going to cut corners because it was important to take the time to do it right and to do it well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's missing in a lot of things. Like if we have to get things out by this deadline, we just don't have enough time to create these like beautiful pieces that the designers had in mind.
Yeah. I'm starting this again.
We've just watched part of the Camila Cabello Cinderella. Link below. Go support Chad, you know.
Oh, thank goodness.
Smaller creator.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to
No.
support that. No. Don't.
Go support a small creator, Amazon.
Jeff Bezos.
He doesn't have enough money.
Anyway, what Olivia was saying about
It's ugly.
it's bad.
That's what I was saying about it. Why is it? It's tan and lilac. Bad color combination. It doesn't look good on her skin.
like
It
one
looks
layer.
like it's made of tulle.
It looks like
It
an
wouldn't be
underdress.
comfortable. It wouldn't be. It's not fashionable.
No.
Yeah, it looks like a slip that she would wear underneath something else that's a little bit more extravagant. That has color and layers and is like softer on your skin.
The only thing
Who allowed
really
this?
fancy about it is a brooch. Which
A brooch that you can't even see because
No.
it's gold and she's wearing tan and she is also
It's-
tan.
it
and
blends
everything
in.
looks exactly
it looks
the
like
same.
she's just wearing the purple
You
sash.
look at her, yeah, it's just like, okay, brown hair and a purple sash. That's all I see over
Awful. It's awful.
there.
I mean,
Hello?
every extra in that scene is dressed fancier than the two like dresses that we're supposed to be wowed by.
Yeah.
The one that she made and the one that she's wearing.
And like, who allowed this? I 100% support. I think that extras in a ball scene should be wearing beautiful ball gowns.
Absolutely. But if
And they shouldn't be cheap and they shouldn't cut corners.
No.
However, the main character, and this is her dream, to own a dress shop and to be a seamstress, and she's like not even good.
That's all she can
That's
do.
so embarrassing. Like tan and lilac.
It's so bad.
Those
It's
are really
like,
nice colors in any other combination, but they just don't look good together.
because they're like complementary colors for other things.
Yeah.
They have a really hard time standing on their own when that's all they have.
Especially
so, like putting
a
a
fully
bunch,
tan dress that's like
it's
the
only
same.
tan.
It's like tan leggings, you know, whereas you're like, oh,
Oh, I thought you were naked.
yeah, like
It's
off-
so bad. It's
Oh
so
my
bad.
gosh.
Compared, and we'll put the two dresses up. She will do this. Put the two dresses up. Camila Cabello, even like Camila Cabello Cinderella dress
Yeah.
versus Danielle's dress.
which is gorgeous.
Miles.
Silky,
Oh,
it fits her beautifully. She looks like an angel.
she does.
And this
Yeah.
one looks like junior prom. So it's like, it's nice, but you can see the level of beauty that you could have.
Yeah.
Like, if you could be Drew
Mhm.
Barrymore, why are you being Amazon movie?
Knockoff. Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense in the story too because that was her mother's wedding dress, and that's part of Danielle's dowry.
Mhm.
It's all supposed
So
to
it's
go
like
to
a
her.
little bit old-fashioned, but it's supposed to last and be this beautiful garment that
Yeah.
means a lot.
Yeah.
Because she literally got married in it.
Yes. Yeah. That's the only thing she has left of her mother. So
Mhm.
it's supposed to be the most beautiful, extravagant thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
While it's not being gaudy either. It's like, it is
Yeah,
just
it's simple, it's
elegant. It's stunning.
just
It's
flows,
stunning.
yeah.
And so maybe Camilla's dress wouldn't have looked so bad if you don't compare it to anything else. But
it's
coming
hard
from a
not to.
good Cinderella adaptation,
Yeah.
it's really hard to say. And again, even from the
And
Disney
it's just
one,
hard not to because all of the background characters
outshine
have better
her.
dresses than she does.
Yes,
She's supposed to be the main character.
it is embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's just so, and it's sad. And not even just within this movie, but a lot of movies that we see nowadays, this is a problem where it's so rushed and so they can't bring the vision to life. But
because the point is to just make the movie and then people watch it and you make a profit.
Yeah.
Rather than
caring
making a
about
movie that you're really, really passionate about.
Work of art.
Yeah. Like even like an indie film that's gonna make $20.
Mm-hmm.
At least somebody made it. Like somebody cared about it
Yeah.
and thought it through and shot it with their friend from college and paid them in pizza.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a work of art.
Yeah. Yeah. That means more to me than freaking Camila Cabello's Cinderella.
Yeah.
Or Stardust is a good example too, because it didn't have a huge, but I mean, they got Rob De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer, but
that's where their budget went.
I think so, yeah. But even still, you look at the costumes and it feels like you're there. There's nothing wildly out of the realm of possibility. It's not totally extravagant, but even Evaine's dress is so silky and flowy. It looks like how you would imagine a star to be.
Yeah.
And that's
like a star in human form.
Yeah, of course she'd
And
be
they nailed
silky
it.
and silver and look liquidy. Absolutely. And so that's the thing, is you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be Danielle dress levels of extravagance to be just care about your product. Care about it, please. I'm begging you.
Please.
Yeah.
I am no longer asking.
Oh. Yeah. It's so good. And so she shows up to the ball, right? He's going to propose to her. And she says, I've been lying to you. And then her mom comes and
rips one of the wings off and she's crying and she has to run away and everyone is shocked.
She's shocked.
It's a scandal of their lives. They thought she was a courtier. They thought she was royal. And now she's nothing but a peasant.
Yeah. And she called him Henry in front of everybody because he's been telling her the whole movie, please call me Henry. Don't call me your highness. Don't call me
So
my
now
name is
she
Henry.
finally does when she's saying we're actually not on the same level.
Yeah. And he scorns her in front of everybody. Because first of all, that's a scandal for her to even address him by that name.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is hurt and betrayed and lashes out at her. Ooh, it's devastating. It's so good. It's really good.
And even saying Matilda Lafleur was my mother. I am who she says. And then he can't take the time to ask well, who was Matilda Lafleur? Was she noble? Because it's hard to in the heat of that moment really actually consider your options. And
Yeah. And it's
you can understand that he would just be I can't believe you lied to me, and he's heartbroken.
Yeah.
And he's the prince, so of course he's gonna kick her out and make a big scene.
Yeah. And that's another thing I love about it, is because he's not irredeemable from that moment either, because his actions are understandable as well.
Yeah.
We know Danielle, we've been with her. So obviously we're on her side, but it's not so much that we say
but you're not against the prince, you
don't hate him.
Do that?
You're better than this. I know you're better than this.
I want you to win. I want you guys to be together.
Yeah. And that's what makes it really good, is because again, we know he has the capacity for good, and we know he has the capacity for introspection and growth. And so for Leonardo da Vinci, who again, as we remind you, is in this movie, to come up and say, hey, you're kind of a dumbass. Why'd you do that to her? And then, leave, and that's all he says. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good.
Get wrecked.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sorry, it's just time to be real. I don't know if you
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be blowing a balloon if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
All right.
I'll have got this. And I'm like, nice.
Good. And the scene after she's been lashed too, and she goes to meet him to like try to end things, and she can't bring herself to do it because he's so happy and so in love with her, and she's just gonna never see him again.
Mm-hmm.
But she
She's
can't
like,
even
I'm
bring
so
herself to
sorry,
say
like,
it.
I'm just here because this is my last chance to talk to you.
Yeah. And he tries to touch her back, and she cries.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know. He couldn't know.
Yeah.
But
because she's been trying so hard to find a way for him to never know.
yeah. It's heartbreaking. Oh, and the scene where she is whipped too. They really drive home the cruelty of the stepmother and the one stepsister. Margaret? Marguerite.
Marguerite.
That's it.
Because she's French, remember.
Yeah, of course. But for her to throw the book in the fire and take the, like, oh, that hurts.
The one thing she has from her father and the one thing she has from her mother.
Yeah, everything is taken from her. Devastating. And I love the other stepsister too. I can't remember her name. I don't know.
I'm sure it'll come to us when it's no longer.
Yeah.
And again, we can just punch it in here.
Because
Jacqueline!
Oh, of course. Yeah. But she's
The sweet little brunette one.
yeah.
She's so nice, and she's trying her best. And it's again like you could criticize, like, well, why didn't she act sooner? Like, why didn't she stand up for Danielle? But
And she says, Danielle, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have hit her.
Yeah.
So even still, in this moment, she's like blaming Danielle for getting whipped.
It's just like you should have known that this would happen, but it's because she's in that situation as well, where she's like, I know that my mom and sister are pretty abusive, and so her, like, the way that she copes with that is just like, well, don't act out, like, don't say anything.
Yeah.
So she's basically like, she is kind of victim blaming, but it's kind of in the sense of like,
she's also
I wish you hadn't done this. Like, if I were in that situation, I would have just not said anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's trying to give advice, but she can't really give advice
because she's
in the same boat.
Yeah. And
they make fun of her for how she eats her eggs. Like,
they
just minor things are so, like, nitpicky.
They call her fat for the whole movie, and she's like,
she's totally normal size. Like,
probably barely 130
it's
pounds.
not even. It's not bad to be fat.
No.
And also, she isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, she probably weighs like 140 in that movie. It's like,
yeah, she's
very average sized.
Yeah. But her line at the end, where she's like, I don't know what happened, Mother. I'm only here for the food. Finally gets her throat. Like, that's her tiny little bit of, I'm free too. I can say, I found a man who I can love. That's her comeuppance. Yeah, and she can just say, like, she's got her little. And I love that.
Like, using someone else's line against them. It never gets old.
It's called cruel irony. Like my dependence on you.
And also, I like that she gets that little bit of redemption, because there is that understanding of, like, she has a good heart, and if she had known what to do, she would have wanted to do more to help Danielle.
Yeah.
She just couldn't, right? So then at the end, we see, like, the mom and sister go off to work, and she gets to live with the nobles. Like, she gets to be with her horse guy.
Yeah. And, like, anyway, that's another thing, is because she's not a super major character, but they still.
But she has some nice moments, and you still feel you feel good for her at the end.
Yeah,
like it feels fair.
Yeah,
she gets to have a happy ending.
Absolutely. Damn it. Oh, there it is again. Okay,
it's coming in and out. It's really fast.
She's just one step away from being Danielle too. And so I think that helps her give an understanding of, like, that could be, like, even at the beginning when they're like, go boil some water. She's like,
why would I have to do that?
Yeah, it's not that she's shocked at having to do a task. It's that she's shocked because Danielle's not here, and so who are we going to ask? This one. Yeah. So she knows that, like, she's on the thinnest of ice as well for being in Danielle's shoes. And so she's, like, doing everything she can to prevent that while also caring about Danielle and
She's doing her best.
She's doing her best. Yeah, she's awesome. I love her so much. Jumping subject a little bit, the scene where Daniel brings the servant back and his wife sees him and the other one sees him and they're all running and everyone's crying and hugging and it's like kind of misty and like blue gray filter over everything.
Yeah.
I like
Again,
weep.
It's so beautiful.
It's so good. It's so good.
Like,
Yeah, they were never gonna see him again.
Yeah.
And they're so old, and you saw him at the beginning. How much he loved.
They worked so hard.
Yes.
Like, all the strength that they have.
And the acting.
So good.
You really think
So sweet.
that they've been married for 50 years
Yeah.
and genuinely thought they were never going to see each other again because they're both like they're not even smiling. It's just weeping.
Yeah.
And like just holding so tight. I like. Who's ever done it like that?
Yeah.
I'm genuinely getting choked up. It's like the most beautiful scene.
It's so touching. It
Yeah.
really is.
I couldn't watch it. When I watched it so many times as a kid, I had to skip past that scene because I was like, I don't want to ruin the rest of my day. I can't. Like,
Yeah. Oh my god.
yeah.
It's so good.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. So that's like 20 minutes into the movie, and you've already cried twice.
Yeah, we've said this before, but you have to have an emotional heart to your story. Like, you have to be saying something that actually matters.
Yeah.
That you care about, that people, like, even if you can't relate, like, oh, this happened to me, you can relate to it because of the humanity that's found in it. Like, this is an emotion that I can understand and that I am being made to feel right now just from watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not making it just to, like, oh, what if Snow White was a girl boss? Who cares? What if she wasn't and you made a better story instead?
Yeah, what if someone was trying to kill her and she was trying to survive while also being kind?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot you can do with just
There's a lot
those
you
main
can do with that.
characteristics, but like let's not lose those.
You just have to be like, oh, she relies too much on a man. Like, okay, let's talk about the importance of that relationship. Why does she have to rely on a man? What's going on in her society? Or like, why does it have to be this person? Like, what did they have? What connection do they have?
Yeah.
That makes it important that he's the one to save her.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, she's not necessarily a bad character because she happens to be in distress one time.
Yes.
She's in danger.
Someone is going to kill her. She's on the run.
Gosh, dude.
And look, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Season 1 of Once Upon a Time is the only one who has actually understood how to do this.
Mm-hmm. How to make Snow White in a modern setting,
Interesting.
but still, like, you can still see
Yeah.
how she is that character. They're
Yes.
not just making a person and naming her Snow White.
Yes.
You can see the relationship between that and between, like, her and the prince.
How it
You
grows,
can
how
see,
it develops.
why they
Mhm.
work together and why
Mhm.
they rely on each other.
Why she is the way she is.
Mhm.
Why she's a thief, which is fun too, because she's already an outlaw, so she's like, might as well like
Lean into it.
freaking rob people.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's great because she knows how to handle herself, but she's never gonna let her kindness get in the way of like she loves the dwarves.
And she's not going to be a doormat.
She's not gonna be a doormat. No, we don't need to make this point that she's not just gonna like let a man do things for her. She's gonna be the leader that her father told her she could be. Like,
Why did her father have to be the one to tell her that?
interesting. She's going
If you want to erase the role of men in her life and say that she can save herself, why can't not she be inspired by herself
Yeah.
or by some other woman?
Yeah. Like we never have to say that explicitly in Once Upon a Time. Again, season 1.
It got ridiculous.
Which is fun in its own right.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. It's like Riverdale. You're like, this doesn't make any sense. Slay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's season 1. I'll say is a genuinely good story. Everything after that is just fun to watch, and it doesn't need to be any more than that. But like where they started, out of this world,
point.
They did,
Mhm.
and they didn't need to say anything else. It just. Like, if you're going to do an adaptation, I think that's what you should do, is like, okay, well, how can we make this character more interesting? How can we flesh her out without being so disrespectful to the original? You get the sense that they love this character, and they're like, I really care about her. I want to make her...
They're actually inspired by the source material.
Yeah, instead of
trying to fix the source material.
actually, you know?
Actually, yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah, awful. And Ever After does this also because that's exactly why it is a successful adaptation, and that's why it's a good movie in its own right, is because they drew inspiration from a story that they clearly loved and cared about and said, how can we make it our own while keeping it like
So recognizable as being inspired by Cinderella.
Exactly. And it is, and it's one of the best movies ever.
Yeah, I think that's a fair claim.
I've never said that before on this channel, so.
So you know we mean it.
Oh, I forgot. One more thing that I love about it is the little subplot that you almost, I nearly forgot about, but where the creepy Lord guy is like trying to get Danielle to marry him. And there's also like the little mystery things of like, everything in this house is going missing. Like, where is the tapestry? Where's the candlesticks? And that's also a thing that Danielle is pissed about. She's like, where are the candlesticks? Yeah. Where are these precious things that we have had at this house?
Yeah.
And she's so emotional about it. It's beautiful. She finally
it's
had
her
enough.
House.
It's her house. That's her father's stuff.
Like,
this is her stuff.
Come in here to my house and sell my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the reveal at the end that her stepmother had been selling it off to
that guy.
Count?
The greasiest guy in the
He's-
world.
Where did they find him? He's so scary.
He's really greasy.
He literally has a pointed, like...
Yeah, like the villain pointy goatee.
Yeah. He's bald, he has an earring. And
I mean, slay.
Yeah. First of all...
Yeah.
Any other circumstance, I think I'd be attracted to him, but the fact that they made him so vile.
Yeah.
Really
honestly impressive.
It is. Yeah, they really hit the nail on the head.
She likes the villains sometimes.
Sometimes. Not very often. Yeah, but then the reveal that her stepmother's been selling this stuff off to him, and then he returns it all in exchange for Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
He buys her.
With her own
stuff. And this is at the lowest point, right after she's
already been revealed as like a liar in
the
front
prince
of everybody.
her.
The prince hates her.
She thinks.
And she can't hide her identity anymore. Now everybody knows, and they know that she's going by her mother's name.
Yep.
And all of this stuff. And she comes back home, and the only solace that she has is in her house with her people.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This moment, too, is crazy, because she says to her stepmother, she's like, all I ever wanted from you was for you to be a mother to me.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever feel anything for me in return? Because this is where we really...
This exchange, it's heartbreaking.
Chilling. Because you pick up on it throughout the rest of the movie that Danielle wants to love her. She wants to be loved by her. But this is where it's finally explicit. Like, tell me if you feel anything at all for me. And she says,
how could anyone love a pebble in your shoe?
Ice.
Literally Ever After if Danielle had a gun.
First of all, she never would have met the prince because, like,
someone's stealing my horse. Yeah. Yeah.
We love that.
Exactly.
That's great. And, well, that's how it ends, too.
Someone's shipping off slaves. Yeah.
Oh, I'm technically your property. You bought me. You want me to be your wife? She does this with a sword.
Yeah. And she doesn't even do anything. She just says, I'm going to do this. And he's like, I believe you. Sorry.
After all this, and he just folds immediately?
Yeah.
First of all, that's pathetic. Like, have a bit of a backbone. If
Yeah.
you're gonna buy us...
But anyway...
I don't often have a filter.
That was a good catch. Yeah, like, well, because I think that he seems like he's never had to work for anything. He's just been slimy. He's just kind of oozed his way into situations, and people give him stuff to make him go away.
Bullied his way.
He's a bully,
He's
and
intimidating,
he's rich,
and he has no substance.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, because he reminds me very much of Bhadra.
Yeah,
from Bahubali.
that's what. Yeah,
the
little pathetic little rich baby who's never worked a day in his life. Has to bully people into giving him stuff.
Yeah, but the second you put any kind of pressure on him, he cracks like a freaking walnut.
Mm-hmm. You just cut his head right off.
It's the best part of the movie.
If you think about it, every movie is Bahubali.
Tarzan, ever after.
Movies that are Bahubali. It's just every movie. I really think we could find at least one parallel. Like if we watched any movie and our challenge was find a parallel between this and Bahubali, we could do it.
Easy.
You know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it has every possible trope.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It means so much to me. Anyway, so I love that difference between her and this guy, this slimy evil villain, is that
because she has like
integrity. Yeah, and a backbone. Like he's so used to just like bluffing basically his way. Like he was bluffing about like that when he was in the market, and he was like, "I guess I won't buy your stuff this week, and we'll see how you act like next week." And like he knows, he just is. He's abusing his power to like manipulate the people around him. And it just doesn't work on Danielle.
Has wanted her entire life to have power to change things for the better.
Yeah.
So she's like, of course not going to take that.
No. And the second that he looks her in the eyes, and it comes to it, like
game
a chicken
over.
contest. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah, he's like, starts crying. Mom, can you come pick me up? So
we spend a little bit of time together. You can't argue that she's a powerless character. Because she's not a damsel in distress. The prince goes to rescue her. He's on his way to rescue her.
Yeah.
She's been sold as property, and he's like, I'm gonna go get her.
And he meets her on her way
out. Yeah. Unlocks
like,
the chains.
What are you doing here?
You're a little late. Like,
yeah.
And it's not framed in a girl bossy way. There are plenty of other essays about this. I've had enough of the girl boss vibes. I've talked about it before on this channel, and
you're trying to be a girl boss, but consider the fact that she is very poor. Actually, she's on a low rung on the socioeconomic ladder.
She's been a slave like her whole life.
Why is she gonna be a boss now? Why do we have to like make everything corporate?
Yeah, she's not a powerful CEO girl boss woman. She's just
regular.
She's just regular. She's just a character.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like they didn't focus on making her a strong female character. They're like, how do we make this a strong
They just made
character?
her a strong character. She has bravery, she has integrity, she has banter. That's all you need.
That's it, baby. Yeah.
She's actually a lot like Bahubali.
Actually, some of the deleted
she's
scenes.
She's like Mahendra. She's like Shivu, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you say that.
He's playful and he's clever, but when shit gets real, he's gonna cut off people's heads.
It's scary, yeah.
And she would do the same thing, like no hesitation.
Absolutely. It's actually fun, too, because there's a deleted scene where she is sneakily tattooing the prince. He doesn't notice.
Yeah. He falls asleep by a pond and his hand goes into the water. And thankfully she can breathe underwater for up to 40 minutes.
She's just perfectly still. That's actually when Leonardo da Vinci catches her. But they had to reshoot it. So it was a whole thing. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, and I love this scene too, because I've texted you about this before, but I don't think we've ever fully articulated it, is like the theme of names throughout this whole movie is because she goes by Nicole, her mother's name, and
she never knew her mother.
She never knew her mother. But
that's
she's
something.
He constantly wants her to call him Henry. Not a title, but his name, his identity, who he is. She never gets to hear him say her name.
And then when it's revealed, she's like, I'm not who I said. I am who she says. Like, Nicole is my mother's name. Also removing the title from her.
Yeah.
Like, up until this point, they've never really been on equal ground there.
Yeah.
Like, and then when he comes to rescue her from the evil castle, which is literally, like, surrounded by thunder and lightning. It's so scary. It's so scary. Why did they do that? But he goes to, like, rescue her.
Actually suited.
Yeah.
He goes to rescue her, and she's already come out. And he's like, oh, hey, Danielle, there you are. I just wanted to apologize, blah, 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 blah.
He says,
like,
I'm so sorry.
Say it again. And he's like, I'm
so sorry.
And she's like,
My
yeah,
name.
you said my name. And that's like, this is like the 4th or 5th time you just burst into tears watching this movie.
Yes, because, like, he came to get her, and she's forgiven him.
Yeah. She's had a whole, 12 hours to think about it.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, actually, I guess he was justified.
Yeah.
If he apologizes, I'll accept it.
Yeah. And the apology comes with Danielle.
Yeah.
The only time she's been seen for who she is.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing
and
less.
Hiding under her mother's name out of necessity.
No, and he's not hiding behind the title either. He's just Henry. She's just Danielle.
Yeah.
They're in love, and they're going to be married forever.
And he helps her put her shoes on.
Like Cinderella! And then the part where he invites the stepmother and Marguerite to the castle, and he's like, Marguerite, you look lovely. Have you met my wife?
She just walks in.
And Marguerite thinks she had the chance.
It's like, she's not, like, it's such a moment of, like, victory. Because you've been on Danielle's side the whole time, and you hate Marguerite because she's so mean.
Vile. She's horribly rotten to the core.
And then Danielle walks in, and she's just graceful, and like, not even haughty.
No.
You know what I mean?
She's not rubbing it in their
faces. It would be totally justified for her to do so, but she's not.
No.
She just comes in, and she's all elegance and quiet grace.
Yeah.
And she's so happy that everything else has melted away. Yeah, she has dignity.
Yeah. And I love her interaction with the stepmother as well. Because they're gonna, like, either be killed or shipped off to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's dire for them. And
Especially
Danielle,
because they don't even know how to boil water.
No.
So, like, they're not gonna last very long.
They're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
And Danielle says, I'll speak for them. Like, don't kill them. Don't send them away. Just, like, I will
every kindness
you've given to me. That's freaking
She's so powerful.
Oh my gosh. And that's how you do it too. Because, and we've talked about this before as well, I am sick of, like, the forgiveness where, like, if I don't
overall.
Yes.
If I don't forgive them, I'm just as bad as they are.
Because
you're not actually.
Mm-hmm.
Are you abusive to your children?
No.
Then you're good, actually.
Yeah, we can forgive.
Yeah.
Like, some things, but there's like anyway, I think there's an appropriate time to do that, but it's overused. And I also like that she didn't go the full Inigo Montoya route of, I want my father back, you son of a bitch, and just, like, pulls out her gun and right there.
Yeah.
No.
Because again, we've made it this far in this story, it wouldn't have really fit in her character anymore.
No. It's and I'll say it. It's like in Bahubali when they make Baladeva's father hold the crown to put on Shiva's head.
Yeah.
As he's being crowned the king of.
Yeah.
Like, it's the sense of, you are not even worth it for me to be angry at you.
Yeah.
That's like so cutting too. People don't appreciate.
I'm not even thinking about you.
Yes. And that's what she says. I want you to know that I will never
From this moment forward, I will never think of you again.
Yeah.
She's so good.
I love it. And again, Drew Barrymore plays that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really well done. Really, on every possible front. I think the only thing that could have possibly made this movie better, and I think Marguerite was perfectly cast as well, but the only thing that I think could have made it better is if she was played by that one lady who plays
The one who plays
stepsister
in
in every
Cinderella movie.
yeah.
She's so awesome.
She's my hero. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's just such a lovely story, and I'm probably gonna watch it again today, if I'm being honest, because
Jacqueline.
Oh, of course, yeah. Jacqueline gets a happy ending. Oh, it's good. It's magnificent. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it.
You won't be disappointed.
No.
Again, it's so beautiful. It's so emotional. The story makes sense and is satisfying by the end.
Yeah. On every front, all the side characters get a happy ending. Daniel gets a happy ending.
The Princess Bride, that he's like, "So how do you think?" He's like, "Fencing, fighting, torture, revenge."
I have every single week been notified for the past 3 years that I don't have enough iCloud storage.
Oh my gosh! And you're like, "Okay, give me more then, or shut up."
Yeah, they're like, pay 99 cents a month for an extra 2 gigabytes or
It's
something.
only 99 cents a month, and it's like, okay,
It's
if
the damn
principal! If it's that cheap, I shouldn't have to pay for it. Is the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Is Steve Jobs on my nemesis list?
I don't know.
I'm gonna put him on there.
The new YouTube
he's
guy
dead,
is-
but yeah, new YouTube
But
guy.
still, for what he allowed to happen by creating all this in the first place, he should, it's a question of where accountability begins and ends.
Yeah. This is my nemesis list. We could put it up on the screen at some point if you like, but
Okay.
there's only
Here,
4
just send me
people.
a screenshot.
I'll send you a screenshot, yeah. Joss Whedon, Bob Iger, Neil Mahone, Steve Jobs.
Boo!
They will answer for their crimes, and if God doesn't handle it, then I can be in charge of it.
You can delegate. We were talking about how somehow every movie relates to Jurassic Park, Bahubali, and The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's true, because those are such good movies, but, you kind of can't stop thinking about them.
No!
You know what I mean?
They're so sticky.
Yeah.
They're in your head all the freaking
All the time.
Yeah. I think about Prince of Egypt, and this is not an exaggeration, every single day. And
It's like, what more can you say, you know? The Prince of Egypt was there for me when nobody else was there. And the Prince of Egypt has 10,000 fans, I'm one of them. Etc.
yeah, thank you for watching. Post your favorite scene down in the comments below.
Please. And also,
don't let them think that there's any demand for another Camila Cabello movie.
Yeah.
We don't need it. She's a singer. She's not an actress.
yeah. Leave it alone. If you're gonna watch a movie, watch Ever After, watch Bahubali, watch The Princess Bride, or The Prince of Egypt, or Labyrinth, or Jurassic Park. Or we could keep listing stuff, but
it's just gonna be ones we've already done on this channel.
Yeah. Just look through the things that we've talked about recently and watch those. But so genuinely, watch Ever After.
Yeah.
In a time that you can allow yourself to just sit with it and enjoy it for what it is. It's so beautiful, and you most likely will cry, and that's okay.
Yeah, accept it. This is a good time of year to do it too. We're talking about this October 27th. So it's a very fall coded movie.
First week of December.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, perfect.
Whenever you're watching this,
yeah,
it's a perfect time to watch Ever After.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Bye, John.
Bye. Bye, Rhett and Link.
Who else we're going to reference? Special thanks to Lady Gaga, who has been our biggest fan and supporter from the very beginning. And
we didn't want to name drop too quickly, but we just felt we have to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of established a little bit, it's been a couple months, we can finally say
we're experiencing wild amounts of success.
Yes, and it's really all due to Stephanie Gaga.
Shout out to you, bestie.
Superior tale. Emotional, magnificent, I don't know. My other thought was eat shit Amazon with like the M cap. Just knocked my earring out. How'd that even happen?
I think for eat shit Amazon, we'd have to rearrange the letters. But it's not bad. I also do like superior tale. Maybe instead of superior tale and then excellent or emotional magnificent, we could do superior tale of emotional magnificence. So it kind of flows better. I don't know. What do you think? What's funny about this is that I asked what STEM could stand for, and Whitney replied, and then I completely forgot about that and asked again, and then was like, whatever, I'll just not put it in. But then I realized that she had actually answered the question. So now it's embarrassing. Oh, also, if you can think of anything for STEM to stand for in the Ever After episode, we didn't do that. But I think that's all we need, and then it will be ready to post. Or we can just not do that and, like, forget about it, which would be kind of funny. It's up to you. Do you have any thoughts particularly? Yeah.
Alright, so should we record that?
I think so. We can just say it's good. We can have a 2-second long podcast.
What do you think?
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Good thing that's plastic. Dude, if you had just dropped a glass ornament after placing it so carefully, and just, life is ruined. You have to call everybody and be like, never mind, don't come. I'm not having a party.
You actually never talked to me.
I actually had a tragedy, so.
A death in the family.
It's actually really, yeah.
Which, I don't know if you know this, it's actually more likely to occur the week of an exam.
Oh, I've heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's probably because they don't know how to schedule things properly.
Yeah, that's true. Funny enough, they're why my ball got knocked off.
Breath away!
Yeah!
It's like that could be a product.
Breath away.
Yeah.
I can.
For somebody who's really stinky.
Oh. We were on a different direction.
Yeah. Well, that's typical.